This is it's called a solenoid switch. This is, there's a few variants of this. This is a 24 volt DC model. Usually you see these things on like high current DC motors, things like that. Something like this size you'd probably find on like a riding mower for starting it. You might find it on like a snowplow to run the hydraulic system, the pump that runs the lift and the tilts mechanisms. This came out of a cleaning machine, which was a 24 volt system and batteries. And this is your coil. Think of this basically like a relay. These are the switch contacts. This is the coil. There's a diode here. I assume that's to prevent the current spike when it shuts off. There's still induction and there's charge in the inductor in here, which then could fry the circuit this was attached to. And basically, it's in concept similar to a relay. A relay usually has like a coil and then like a little flap just goes like chunk and would close, or multiple contacts depending on the relay type. This is a little more heavy duty and it's called a solenoid. It's got more like a solenoid mechanism. The coils is that green hole in the bottom there. This is the plunger. It's like a normal solenoid. There's a spring to push it out. There's a copper disc here, which is the contact. Basically a copper washer. You can see where it's arced over its lifetime. These are basically copper bolts with rubber grommets. And then that's the high current contact. And then this plunger, if you notice, it also has a spring on the top, which is hooked to this washer. And if I can push this washer down and compress that spring, that ensures that this washer connects with this stuff, these contacts securely. I'm gonna put it back together. Have it hooked to my bench power supply, and we should see it suck down. There. Now it's engaged, and I think it's very hard to pull back up. And then if I let go of it, it'll come out. That's just because the top's off it. Usually these things are also pretty well sealed. There's like some kind of like a flare fitting around where the top like flares around and it's crimped on. I had to open this up just to get in here. I had to use an angle grinder to go around the parameter. But basically it's smaller, but the same type thing would be in a car for the starter solenoid to turn over the starter. Usually when you hit the ignition, in some cases I believe there's also, it would go ignition switch to a relay, and then that would go to the starter solenoid because the starter solenoid takes a good bit of current to run. And then this would turn over the starter. I don't remember what the rating on this was. Come on, where is it? 24 volt. Doesn't really say anything about amperage. Max torque 2001. Usually something like this. I would say from the size of this is probably rated for, I would guess, at least 30 amps, if not more. The bolt's kind of small. Something like a car, the bolt would probably be probably about the size of that nut, if not bigger. That's just because of the current. But these are probably all basically the same type mechanism. And they all have basically the same design. There's usually two contacts for the coil. I've seen a few that had like a third contact for like an ignition coil. I don't know what the purpose of that is. This is basically a relay switch, just a different concept.